Did he go in after the fish? What is happening, folks? Welcome back to the test lake. Tonight is a beautiful night in Kansas City. It's one of those late summer nights, you know, where it's starting to get cooler on us, and the the water's calm. And tonight we're going to be fishing from the shore, but fishing from the dock rather, and we're just going to chill tonight. So while we're doing that, we thought we'd take you guys on a little trip down memory lane with these. That's right. Zebco 202. Now Zebco makes quite a few reels. They've actually, I think the 202 has been out since 1949. So it's a spin cast reel. I had to look up some of the stats because, well, I never really looked before. And so what this has as far as some of the stats on this, it is a 2.8 to 1 gear ratio. So not exactly the fastest retrieve in the world. It comes preloaded with 10-pound monofilament line. That's what's on here. It's a right-hand retrieve. Sorry, Todd. I know you're a lefty, but
you know, when we're deep sea fishing, this is how it's set up anyway.
Okay.
Reels, so I'm used to it.
Good deal. It says it has an anti-reverse quick set. I'm not sure what that means. I'm used to anti-reverse on bait casters and spinning reels and things like that. But it has a capacity for 110 yards of 10-pound mono line. So yeah. So for me, the 202 is an iconic reel, and for many of you, this is where it all started for a lot of us, who fish on a regular basis. Every one of us at some point, or maybe you're new to fishing and this is what you're using right now. There's not a thing in the world wrong with these. They catch fish. So what we're doing tonight is we're going to use some live bait. Now, I don't throw live bait very often. Well, we don't throw live bait very often.
Not with you. Other times I do.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, we do lure reviews most of the time, and most of those lures are fake, So, but we're gonna put some live bait. We're just gonna go. We're gonna do this Andy Griffith style, so to speak. We're gonna take a spin cast reel and some good old-fashioned worms, put them on a hook and sinker, throw them out there, and see what we reel in tonight. So
fishing the crawdad hole tonight.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that's what we're up to tonight for you guys. So at the end, of course, we'll give this thing a scorecard. I expect it's probably gonna have, I'm just gonna tell you now, it's probably gonna have some pretty high marks. Yeah, it's such an icon to us, to many of you out there. It's just a fantastic little setup, and it just holding one in your hand just kind of takes you back down memory lane a little bit, So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this, man.
I'm gonna catch a fish. My earliest memory, Zebco 202. I was 3 years old, and I was on that dock over there. That's where we used to live. I was fishing with the same thing here, just a split shot and a hook and a worm. And we used to have these catfish that we used to feed around there. They'd always come around every once in a while. And sure enough, we called him Bubba. He was a 10-pound channel catfish, lashed on. I was 3 years old. I thought I was fighting a blue marlin. It was the best thing of my life. It took about 10 minutes. I didn't have any help. Parents did not help. I kid you not, 3 years old, 10-pound catfish. I have the picture somewhere, but I don't want to show you guys just now. But anyway, that was my first memory, and that was probably the best memory of my fishing experiences.
So for me, the Zebco 202 takes me back to my grandparents' farm. They lived on a farm in Ohio when I was a kid, and my grandfather had a small little pond behind one of his barns, and in his barns he had various fishing poles and stuff. He had cane poles and everything, but one of them, I remember, it was green in color. It may not have been a Zebco 202, but it was a spin cast reel. And I remember, I don't think the line had ever been changed on that, but to go out to that farm pond, we had to put on rubber boots because he had cows in that field, and we would go out there and just take minnows or night crawlers with us and just fish from the bank of his pond on Sunday afternoons, or whenever we'd go out there after church and stuff like that. And that was my earliest memory of that. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, something like that. So anytime I'm throwing a Zebco 202, which I don't do very often, it just takes me back to my grandparents' farm growing up as a kid.
Guys, we talk bad about bluegill, but if you get a whole big mess of these things, they are delicious.
So my favorite feature of the Zebco 202 really has a lot to do with the sound of it. It's the drag, the loose drag pulling out. Now you can tighten the drag on these for sure, but that sound, that when you've got a fish on the other end, that's just the coolest feature in the world to me when it comes to the Zebco 202.
Favorite feature is when you cast out the line and you hear that tss. It's kind of like when you open a pop can, that tss, that fizz on there. And you just reel the line a couple times and you hear that click click. Yeah, that's the best part. There she is. Bait. You know, I was 3 years old, and I think this was a monster.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's too long. Kind of a traditionalist. When we used to catch catfish with the Zebcos, we'd buy a loaf of the cheapest, whitest bread out there, and 99 centers, and we just ball them up. And we catch them off of that. I think this is not really too strange, but that's the strangest in my arsenal.
So the strangest bait I've ever thrown that I can recall on a 202, probably chicken livers for catfish. There was when I was a kid, my dad and his buddy would go down to pay lakes, right, where you go to like local ponds and stuff. You pay a little fee and you fish all night long. Well, they'd throw chicken livers for catfish and stuff like that. So I do remember throwing chicken livers. I feel like I got sick at one point from that. I may have picked up salmonella.
You think?
From throwing chicken livers, but I don't know. But yeah, strangest bait I've ever thrown, chicken livers.
Wow.
Something good?
There's a monster on these things.
Something good?
Oh yeah. Look at that.
It's the same one you caught earlier.
That's a big one. Look how fat he is. Okay. Look at the girth on that.
That's the same one.
That is a fat one. Okay. Look, fills the whole camera. See? The whole camera.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us with the Zebco 202. Definitely one of the most iconic fishing reels on the market for sure. For a lot of reasons. I mean, like I said before, we all kind of started with the Zebco 202. But it is time to give it a scorecard. So category 1 is price. Is this reel priced well in comparison to other products of similar nature and purpose? Now, this is a spin cast reel, so we can't compare it to a bait cast reel. or even a spinning reel for that matter. But it is priced on Zebco's website, it's priced at $9.99. I think you can actually, I picked these up at Walmart, I believe, because you can find them pretty much anywhere. But I picked these up at Walmart, I believe, for $6.99, so $7. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's for what it is. Yeah, for sure. 5 out of 5 from me on price, no doubt about it.
I mean, how can you go with anything less than a 5? With, what do you say, $6.99?
$6.99.
$6.99, yeah.
Yep.
You know, the great thing about the reel is, I mean, you can use it at all ages. I mean, heck, you know, we started out when we were, you know, barely hold a rod and reel, and heck, we're still using them right now. I'm sure we'll be using them for years to come. So,
absolutely.
I mean, price
Same
ones
ones too, I'm
yeah,
sure.
exactly, yeah. So the way that they hold up, and you know, for what they're worth, there, 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, category 2, function. Did it perform the way that it was supposed to perform? So you have to temper your expectations a little bit when you're throwing a 202. Again, all of us have probably thrown one at one point or another. They're not designed to be power fishing reels or anything like that. I mean, I guess theoretically you could throw a crankbait with it, or a spinner bait, or anything else that you wanted to throw with it. It's just not a super fast retrieve. But as far as its function, you know, for getting out there and just fishing, throwing a worm in the water, just letting the line sit, doesn't get any better than the 202 in its function. I mean, it's easy. It's a spin cast reel with the push button. Basically, when you're throwing a push button reel, I think of it as snapping your wrist and giving the thumbs up. That's all you're doing to get it to go anywhere. And it'll sail. It'll sail. So yeah, function for me, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5. I mean, not much to add to that there. You just gotta take it for what it's worth. If you catch a monster fish, you're gonna have the time of your life on this one.
Oh
I
yeah,
guarantee you.
for sure.
But the way it functions though, it's great. I mean, if you obviously just fishing for panfish, crappie, bluegill, whatever, great, and works perfectly. Yeah, 5.
Absolutely, absolutely. Next up is usability. How easy is the product to use? Well, like I said, when I cast one of these, I just do a snap of the wrist for a thumbs up, and that's it. So I push the button in with my thumb, snap my wrist, and give it a thumbs up, and away it goes, right? Doesn't get much easier than that. So yeah, it's designed to be user-friendly. I mean, that's the idea of a spin cast reel, particularly the Zebco 202. So once again, 5 out of 5 from me on its usability.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for that one too. I mean, you know, it's a great reel to get started on. You know, if you got kids or whatever, you can't go wrong with this one. So I'm not going to add much to that 5 out of 5.
Absolutely, absolutely. Next up is durability. Did it hold up during the test? You know, that reel that my grandfather had that I mentioned before was probably every bit of 30 years old, you know, and it still worked just fine. I imagine that the two reels that we used this evening will hold up 30 years from now. So yeah, durability. I mean, if we could go higher than a 5, I would do it, because those things are just a legend in the industry. So 5 out of 5 from me on durability for sure.
What was it again?
Durability.
Durability. Yeah, durability, absolute 5 out of 5 on that one. You know, short term, long term, as long as you keep it in the right settings, you keep it in, you know, during bad weather. I mean, this is gonna last you a lifetime. It's like your favorite gun, like a Remington, like I've said before. Keep in the right conditions, it'll last you forever. So, no, 5 out of 5.
Yep. Last but not least is its effectiveness. Did it produce the expected results? Well, the expected results when it comes to any fishing reel that we review is to be able to cast bait or lures out there and get them back, right? So when you're throwing live worms, you're not always going to get it back, but you get the hook back, right? So the idea is to be able to cast and retrieve, right? So for that reason, it may not be the fastest reel in the world. It may not have the highest tension settings or anything like that, but it absolutely produced the expected results when it comes to its effectiveness. And tonight my expected result was to be, you know, it was like I said at the beginning of the video, just a trip down memory lane, you know, thinking back to fishing on my grandpa's farm or whatever it was, and it absolutely produced that for me. So yeah, no question about it. Perfect score from me tonight, 5 out of 5.
Yep, 5 out of 5. Like you said, you know, as long as you can reel it in, hopefully with the fish on the other end, that's all you're hoping for. And it doesn't reel fast, but for this type of fishing, that's kind of fun. I mean, you know, it gives you more play in the fish. It kind of, you know, keeps
almost
the fish on there longer. Yeah, exactly.
Almost finesse fishing.
Especially if you get I wish we would have gotten a bass or a catfish on there tonight. We'd probably still be battling it. But no, it's all around. I mean, you cannot beat this type of rod and reel, especially for that price. Yeah, 5s.
Yep. Absolutely. So There you have it, folks. So what we do now is we add our scores together and we take the average of the two scores. If you've been following along, yeah, I don't even think we need calculators for this one. But if you've been following along, it's 5s across the board for us. Yeah, Zebco, what an iconic reel for sure. A perfect score tonight. This is the first perfect score we've collectively given out on this channel. 25 out of 25 points for the Zebco 202.
I didn't have to drive the boat tonight. It was great. I really like this tonight.
So once again,
I can see it in your eyes.
once again, Zebco, obviously you guys you're a legend in the industry. I mean, obviously we've all grown up using the 202s and it was a lot of fun to use it again tonight. So guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash like on this video for us. Let us know that you were here. Hit subscribe down below. We definitely appreciate your support on that.
And any comments you guys have, we'd love to hear, especially any kind of reviews that you want us to do in the future. We still got plenty of time left here for some fishing reviews, but of course any hunting or any kind of outdoorsy thing you want us to review, let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much again for watching and for stopping by. We're the KC Bass Guys. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Todd.
You guys have a good one.